screen. Look it up here. Look at. Say hello to everybody joining in, Elsa. Did you get a bath? Did you get a bath? Why are you so shy as soon as I start rolling the camera? Eric says she's gotten bigger. She has certainly gotten bigger. She's gotten longer, is what's happened. And she's getting more outrageous, you know, because she is not as quiet and innocent as she used to be. She likes to bark. She likes to keep me up at night. She likes to destroy things. But when the camera's rolling, she's all innocent. But you did just get a bath, didn't you? And she wanted to hang out outside. She needs some sun. So are you gonna sit down? I got the fan going. I got some water for you. We're gonna do a little bit of Smell It Sunday on our second channel, Aromatically speaking. Really, this has become the after show. This is really how the show originally started, the live stream. I didn't always have candles to show you folks when we first started, but it was a way for me to talk to you guys directly and get to know one another, share some anecdotes, share some stories. And that's precisely what we're going to do today. I showed you the candles that I want to share with you today. I have some news regarding Yankee Candle. I'm sure a lot of you folks are probably saying to yourself, why haven't we seen a candle enthusiast Yankee Candle Halloween spoiler alert sneak peek video yet? Well, I'll be more than happy to explain that to all of you folks as soon as I get you guys up here. And if any of you guys are just dropping in for the first time, big plans for this channel. Right now it's just live streams, which is awesome, right? Spontaneous lives. I haven't done a spontaneous live in a while, but spontaneous lives and our Sunday shows. But now that the office is done and I've decided to take this channel in a slightly different direction. Really going to start posting different kind of content on this channel. Not just candle content, but really branching out there. You know, I've shared my thoughts on this a lot, that the reason why I enjoy candles so much is because of nostalgia. It's because of storytelling. It's because of the things that it makes me think about, right? But there's other things in the world, right, that I'm nostalgic about. There's other things that I need to learn about, and I want to document it. I want to make videos. I want to make mini documentaries. I want to invite you guys to share a day in the life with not the candle enthusiast, but Shane, you know, this guy right here. And so that's what this channel is going to evolve into. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time because I have a lot on my plate right now, and I really want to give you guys the best candle enthusiast season to date. So let's read some of your questions. We got Trisha in the house saying hi to Elsa. Eric saying she has gotten bigger. She has. Look. When I say bigger, look how long she is. Stop acting like I'm torturing you. She loves it. She loves it. The thing is, she's not happy unless she's being cradled and held. And sitting on the lap is not good enough. She needs to be in your face. We got a little hello from Nancy. We have Carol in the house. We have Mainframe. I didn't know you have a frozen bag. The frozen bag is Elsa's. Right over there, as you can see it. That's Elsa's backpack. That's gonna have all of her little pee pads, her dog food. It's kind of her travel bag. So whenever she comes with me to the porch, or if she's in the vehicle, she's still getting used to the vehicle. She's not a big fan. Taking baby steps or puppy steps with that. but that's where all of her stuff is. Plus, it gave me an excuse to buy a backpack with Elsa and Anna on it. I won't lie, it's pretty adorable, right? Um, um, I don't. It's like it's my way of like having a daughter, like a little girl around the house. Only it's this little puppy. So cute, so cute. I didn't know you have a frozen bag. I read that one already. She looks like my daughter's fluffy Piki Sean? Piki Sean? I can't. What is that? Pikachu. Pikachu. It sounds like a Japanese toy, puppy. I'm sure it's a very, very adorable puppy, but I don't know how to pronounce it, Carol. Rachel's saying hello, guys, and then Eric is saying, "Tell me why. Tell me why what? Tell me why what?" Can't wait for Halloween Witches Brew. Hello again. Angie is here. Rachel says, Shane, did the Maplecroft peeps ever get back to you? No. But then again, I didn't put in a follow-up phone call yet. It's just been a very, very crowded couple of days. So hopefully I will get to that. We demand philosophy fireside chats. Fireside chats, that would make for an excellent little segment, wouldn't it? To get a little fire going and bring up philosophical questions. I like that. Lisa says, yikes, Maplecroft. Yeah, so if you guys don't know what Rachel's addressing, or if, are you afraid of the dark style? Says Rachel. Maplecroft is a recent acquisition of the people who own the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast and Museum, and I contacted them to make a little bit more of a professional, I don't want to say professional, I mean, I want to say professional. I think I can make a professional looking video, but what I mean by that is more of like a travel and tourism video that they could post on their website, but also something that I could use. And Nancy's saying, do it. Did you go to Atlantic City? I'm going to Atlantic City at the end of the month. And talk about being frugal. I got a free room. I pulled some strings, not with the folks at Atlantic City. I have some family members who spent time in Atlantic City, and a lot of time, they go, it's kind of their destination of choice, and they get free rooms all of the time. So I heard that free room, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, is there any way I can get in on a free room? Because saving money is pretty cool, and it's at the resort's casino, which, remember, was owned by Merv Griffith, and it's right by the Taj Mahal. It's right by one of the piers where they have all the carnivals and the cotton candy and the taffy and stuff. So it's a perfect thing. I just have to figure out a time to go, and there's a lot of things I need to hit up on the way through New Jersey. There's a couple managers in that direction from Yankee Candles that I promised that I would stop off at the storefront. So I want to make sure that I hold up my word and do that, but hopefully get some footage. And then I've thought about going to like Cape May. If I have time, that would be awesome. So Atlantic City would be fun, and it will happen. And Lisa says Atlantic City is in my neck of the woods. Kinda. Eric, were you singing Backstreet Boys? That's what he was doing. I missed it. I missed that. I'm not that quick on my feet. Father of a puppy Father of puppy is... You're killing me with these words. Peking... See, I see peking. Pekingese. Pekingese? Father of a puppy is Pekingese. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I apologize. Laura, no question here, but White Barn's pumpkin pecan waffles, yum! Exclamation point. So happy with this scent. If you're at the mall at Bath and Body Works, definitely check it out. I certainly will. I certainly will, Laura. Let me take a screenshot. I think that's easy enough for me to remember, but I'll take a screenshot and definitely check that one out. Hope you guys are okay with... A lot of people ask why I don't do Bath and Body Works candles. And, you know, I kind of stated my case, but then I started doing the Homeworks candles, I guess, just recently. So, and that's kind of, I don't know, it's not necessarily the same crowd, but because of the relation of Harry Slatkin to Bath and Body Works and Homeworks, people are again asking me if I'm going to be doing Bath and Body Works, and it's not that I wouldn't love to, like, evaluate the candles. It's just, I would love to evaluate every single candle I can, but let me tell you, I filmed that Homeworks video yesterday, and you guys can laugh and make fun all you want, and I encourage you to, but it took me about 5 hours from beginning to end to film that video. Now that's setup, that's breakdown, that's cleanup, that's allowing time for me to do a couple of takes, just in case I say something wrong, or if I have this tendency to say like, for example, when I did my holiday collection, instead of calling the candle Winter Hearth, I was calling it Winter Heather. The whole time, I was calling it Winter Heather. So thank God, well, maybe I shouldn't say thank God, that's a bit extreme, but I mean, thank goodness that I did a second take, because otherwise I would have had to like dub myself. You would clearly see me saying Winter Heather, but you would see a dubbed, version or a dubbed voice of me saying Hearth in that video. So I always do a couple takes. I try to do a 3-camera shoot. And I've been doing videos out here on the patio because the office is under construction. So lighting, sound, you guys know the deal. I mean, I go into these things like I'm making a movie, and I know I shouldn't. But at the end of the day, I truly think it matters a little bit, and I can't seem to shake it off, It's like I feel like the little added touches that I throw in every now and then. I didn't have to go to the Christmas tree farm. In fact, it really stressed me out in that video. If you saw the holiday Homeworks video, I'm like, I gotta go to the Christmas tree farm. But there was no guarantee that I was gonna go all the way out there and be able to, they were gonna give me a yes. I had to go there, pitch the idea, get the yes, and then convince them to go out in the blazing hot tree farm and hope that they were, like, Debbie was awesome from Hertz Family Farm, but you gotta hope that they know their stuff, because none of that stuff is ever planned. That video, I had about a 36-hour time frame to film it, edit it, and get it out, and luckily things worked out. And the puppy's mother is a Bichon. Bichon free. See, I know that. Is it free? I know Bichon. I don't know if it's free. It's kind of like Bouchon, the restaurant. Carol, that's a cute puppy, says Lisa. Hey everyone, Tiffany is in the house. Hello Tiffany, how are you doing? Nice to have you. And let me get the Cookie Hill. Hello Shane Cookie, thank you for joining in. Some people present here today have heard me sing some Backstreet Boys. They've heard you sing some Backstreet Boys? Oh, I can see that. I understand that now. Make sure you go to the Sugar Factory in Atlantic City, says Nicole. screenshot Sugar Factory. I'm not even sure what that is. Is that a candy shop on in the mall? I thought that was replaced by an Apple store, but maybe it's you're not talking about the same thing. I'm going to Las Vegas soon. Never been to Atlantic City. Las Vegas. I've never been to Las Vegas. I've been to Atlantic City. Atlantic City was a place. You know, I didn't do the Jersey Shore. My parents didn't take me to Jersey Shore when I was a kid. My family, even myself, my brothers, all of the Carlsons, at least the immediate family, we're just not beach culture people. I like, for me, what I enjoyed is like going to. I always talk about the Sonoma coast or the Pacific Northwest, like driving up the coast, or even not the Pacific Northwest, just the West Coast, driving up, is it 101, 1, whatever it is. You know, driving in the, like up in the mountains, you feel like Cary Grant in a Hitchcock film, driving through those streets. But I used to go to precisely the precise spots of where one of the opening shots of The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds. There's this big, beautiful shot of Bodega, outside of Bodega Bay, out by the coast. And I found this beautiful spot that I would go to when I lived out in California. And that's what I love, because there was nobody there. Big, jagged rocks jetting out of the water, big crashing waves. The solitude, the quiet, the ominous feeling, the clouds rolling in, the rain, the mist. That's the kind of beach I like. But when it comes to like, you know, like ice cream carts and kids and beach balls, I'm nothing against kids, but just there's just too much heat and nakedness and sand for me. So again, didn't go to the Jersey Shore, but we did go to Atlantic City, and I liked to look at the beach from a distance. I never went on the sand. Jennifer says hello. Hello, Jennifer. Great to have you. Farther down from Atlantic City is Wildwood Crest. Yes, that is cool, Lisa. I went to Wildwood. I had a huge, beautiful trip right before. Well, it was, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, but I, with a bunch of friends, we rented this beach house, literally right on the boardwalk. Literally right on the boardwalk. You stepped out the door, you're on the boardwalk. And it had this patio, and it was 4th of July weekend. It was epic. It was epic. You know, like I said, I'm not a beach culture person. I'm not even huge on 4th of July. I'm patriotic, but I'm not big on being outside in the heat, 4th of July, smoke of hot dogs and burgers in my face. A lot of people drinking, family members drinking beer around you. I don't fit in. Hate to be a party pooper, but that was an epic, epic thing. And Wildwood is awesome. It was so awesome. So, the same group of friends have been reaching out to me every year since, saying, "Are you coming this year? We're going back. We're going back." And I keep backing out. Obviously, I missed my opportunity this year, but maybe next year we'll go down to Wildwood and introduce you to some of my really great friends from. They go back. Some of those friends go back to preschool days. I have a tendency of holding on to friends for life. A lot of the friends I have now are the friends I had when I was like 3 years old. That's not a joke. Oh my God, I love the Sugar Factory, says Nancy. So it must be something different than I'm thinking. Whatever you do, don't go on Atlantic City Beach by yourself. You will be robbed. Atlantic City, you know, I won't lie. It can be a little bit treacherous at times. So, you know, bringing my expensive equipment, lugging it around is not something that excites me. Plus sand and camera equipment, it's not a good mix. Shot one of my brother's films. We filmed one of my brother's feature-length films. It's called The Toy Soldiers. Look it up. It's a little plug. I was a producer, second excuse me, first assistant director and second unit director on that film. But being the second unit director and kind of like an executive producer, that also meant that I had to be a location scout. So we wanted to film underneath the Santa Monica Pier, and to do that and to film on the Santa Monica Pier costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's impossible. Not only that, but you have to pay the police department, the fire department. You got to pay security to be on set the entire time. So obviously wasn't a choice. So what we did is we went to Huntington Beach down south, and we filmed at the pier there, and they were very helpful with us. However, there was a huge sequence that took place underneath the pier, which was my idea, and I always kick myself for suggesting it to my brother, because we had thousands and thousands of dollars of lighting equipment, audio equipment, camera equipment, and sand is it's just bad. It can ruin lenses and cameras, electrical equipment really easily. Plus, it's very hard to transport generators, lights, cables, things of that nature. But if you want to see how it turned out, check out the Toy Soldiers, available on iTunes and Amazon and anywhere where you purchase or rent your motion pictures. Okay. Cape May ferry to Delaware. That sounds awesome. Delaware is somewhere I gotta go back. Anybody near the Delaware area familiar with Frightland? Frightland. I was recently talking to Nicole, Rachel, Eric, Lauren, several other folks about Spooky World. Spooky World was what was referred to as America's original horror theme park. It opened up in the early 90s in Berlin, Massachusetts. This was long before the days of Fright Fest and things like that. So it was an authentic Halloween amusement park. Hay rides, multiple haunted houses, museums of horror movie memorabilia, gift shop, celebrities like Kane Hodder, the gentleman who played Jason in a bunch of films, Linda Blair, who played Reagan in The Exorcist. Bobby Boris Pickett would perform there every night. That's the first time I ever met Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, was at Spooky World. And I was talking to them about Spooky World. And really, that industry has just plummeted because of things like Fright Fest, Six Flags, and even things like Disney. Disney offering haunted, kind of haunted themed amusements. And I think that industry that was thriving in the 90s is really starting to plummet. But Frightland, I think, is still open, and it's in Delaware. And my brother was very close to the owner, and I did go there once, and the hayride was awesome. I mean, it was epically long. It was scary. It wasn't cheesy. There was moments where you're just driving, you're on the hayride, and you're just going through dark farm land, and that's it. And you're just submerged in the black darkness of the cold, brisk autumn night. It was amazing. And the reason why I ask is because I would be happy to drive down to Delaware if Frightland is still in operation, filming in low light situations is always bad, but we need to go to a haunted house or a haunted attraction this year. I tried the Blaze last year, and the Blaze in kind of like the Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow area, fantastic thing, but it wasn't really scary. I want to see like a haunted, scary attraction, but I really liked the Blaze was amazing. It was out of control. All right, so what happens is you think it would be easy to read these comments, but what happens is it jumps. Laura's saying Margaritaville Resorts, Atlantic City. I think I know what you mean. Margaritaville. Is that the little like bar out on the boardwalk by resorts? Shane, do you ski or snowboard? It's amazing out there for that. Um, I do not. But that does not mean that I will not go for the candle enthusiasts. Go skiing, snowboarding. It's something I wanted to do. Maybe this year we can make it happen. I've always desperately wanted to have that experience of renting a lodge, getting the sweater, making the hot chocolate, getting shelter from the snow, going out there, skiing, snowboarding. And because it would be my first time and because I'd be so bad at it, I think it would be at least slightly humorous probably for you guys to watch. And where I am in New York, there's plenty of skiing resorts in my area. And then, of course, I used to frequent Lake Placid, New York, which is way north in New York. I used to go there all of the time. And Whiteface Mountain is up there. It's where the Olympics were, what year? Sometime in the 70s, right? Was it Miracle on Ice? Was that the? That's how much I know about my Olympics history. But not Miracle on Ice, but the movie with Kurt Russell. That's my Olympics knowledge. But we got to get up there too. Now, somebody asked a Yankee Candle Halloween question. Who's ready for Halloween, says Tiffany. That's a great segue because we need to start talking about Yankee Candle Halloween. Why have I not talked about Yankee Candle Halloween? Folks, there's so little to talk about this year. I hope that's not a lawnmower. That sounds like some power tool. But there is some very good news that that I will share in my first Yankee Candle Halloween video, but there really is no spoiler alerts this year. And if there is something that is a surprise, it's probably something that will be kept secret until the Halloween preview party, which, by the way, is called... They named it this year. You know, a couple years ago it was called Witch's Ball. And then the year after that, it was called the Halloween Preview Party. And then I think they called it Halloween Preview Party a few times. But this year, I think it's called the Moonlight and Magic Party for this year, which is super cool. So if you go to your local Yankee Candle retail and you say, hey, do you have the Halloween preview pamphlet? They'll probably grab it for you underneath the shelf. I don't think they're handing it out yet, but it shows you what's coming out, and it's not a large selection, but there's at least something that's good news that I thought was going to be really bad news for a lot of people. And if you think a little bit, I'm sure you can figure out what it is. But I will get that Yankee Candle video. But to be honest with you, the Yankee Candle Halloween video preview, there's a lot of other Halloween products that I would love to focus on as well. So last year I put out like 3-4 pre-Yankee Candle preview party videos. It won't be that many this year because there's just simply not much to talk about. Yes, Angie, Jennifer, awesome. Jennifer, we got a new subscriber. We got Kate L. Just subscribed to Aromatically Speaking. And Jennifer, this is a very nice thing for you to say. A high five to Jennifer. Jennifer Sasha. She goes, you're a one-man show. Not surprising it took 5 hours. Thank you for saying that. It does make me feel a little bit better because there's times when I'm sitting there making these videos and I'm like, wait a minute, like why am I doing, like, not why am I doing this, but why am I setting up all of these cameras? Why don't I just make a basic video, but then when they're edited and the music's there and everything, you know, I would say about 9% of the time, 10, I don't know, 9%, 10% of the time, I'm really, really happy with the videos that I put out. The other times, I wish they were a little bit shorter, or if I tightened things up, or if I took things in a different angle, or if I got more shots in there. Very tough on myself when it comes on to the videos, but I think, you know, I think it's just my thing. If there's anything that separates me from anybody else, it's that. And unfortunately, that means I can't put out a video every single day. But you know, I think at the end of the day, hopefully my videos are rewatchable. Rewatchability. That's what I always say. Like I hope that, you know, maybe you watch a review or a video. Let's say a video that I go to a haunted attraction this year, right? You watch it, but then maybe next year rolls around and you're like, remember that Halloween attraction video that Shane put out? Let's watch that again. That's why I put a little bit extra time and attention into the videos, because I want to make videos that are not just like you watch it and forget about it. I want to make something that, you know, maybe you might turn back to one day and watch it once, twice. Maybe you go to a friend's house and share it with them. You know, I'm trying to make a show here, is what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like, I made the comparison recently, the difference between a show, like programming, versus like a radio show, right? A lot of YouTubers, and this is great, this is wonderful, this is a wonderful thing about YouTube. It's rather like they can do like a podcast, they can share their personal commentary, kind of like what I'm doing right now. I doubt anyone watching now is going to rewatch this, but it's a way to share your thoughts, your opinions. And it's kind of like a radio show. It's kind of like a podcast. It's kind of, you know, call it what you will. But then there's the flip side. There's other YouTubers that are trying to make a show. They're trying to make programming. And I think a perfect example would be like, I always use Bob Ross as an example. Bob Ross versus, you know, name any radio host that you listen to. You tune in every day, but you don't really re-listen to their radio show or their podcast every day. So the live is a great opportunity to share my commentary, but when it comes to the other programming, I try to make little shows, little programs. Make happy little accidents. Cookie Hill, good movie, Toy Soldiers. Cookie Hill has seen a feature film that I worked on and was an executive producer on. That is awesome. That is awesome. It's rare to meet or talk to someone who said, I saw a movie that you made. And to be clear, my brother was the writer, director, and producer. I'm missing a lot of comments here. Angie says, I'm going in September. Already bought my tickets. Where are you going? Las Vegas. Okay. Jennifer says, I once hid in a cave in Laguna Beach while my friends sunned themselves. So I'm right there with you about the beach culture. There you go. So Jennifer and I, in agreement on a lot of things. We have Laura saying, if you can take the time, go see Lucy the elephant. She is right next to the AC Margate on the beach. I know what you're talking about, Lucy the elephant. I know what you're talking about. I've heard people talk about it, but I have to do research. Screenshot. I'll have to look into that. My inclination that Shane is, and I'm just afraid to repeat anything that Eric says. I don't know what the acronym stands for, and I'm not even gonna think about it. Go skiing in the Adirondack Mountains, says Mainframe. Oh yeah. We got to do it one of these days. Let's do a meetup in Las Vegas. I'm down, says Jennifer. I don't know. I don't think I'm a Vegas kind of person. I don't gamble. I don't really party. I don't party hardy. I'm frugal. And, you know, when I go on vacation, things that happen on my vacation, I like to share them. I don't like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. When I come home from vacation, I like to share. So I don't know. Vegas is for me. I would like to go see David Copperfield's show at the MGM Grand. Um, you know, that's been his home now for almost 2 decades. His private home. He used to tour a lot more. Those days are not the same. But when I just recently met Mr. Copperfield's childhood icon, but I saw him do a little lecture in New York City. I don't know what you would call it. It wasn't even a Q&A. It was just him speaking about kind of a little bit about his history. It was amazing. But he talked about, you know, his show in MGM, and it just, I would love to see it, because knowing that it's a permanent spot and it's not like he's not moving from one place to one place to one place, because he's been there, you know, I'm sure it's like he's crafted the illusions perfectly to that location. You need some celebrity security, says Violet Moon. I don't need security, but what I need is a production assistant. My brother and I were talking about this recently, because my brother is a Disneyland vlogger, and a lot of the time, let's say I'm filming, and like I need to get permission all the time to film certain places. Or let's say if I want to just stop somebody in the street and say, hey, do you mind if I get you on camera? I'll ask you questions, smell this candle. You know, sometimes, I mean, my hair gets a little crazy. I get a little bit sweaty. I come off a little bit dramatic. Hey, you want to be in a video? You know, approaching people like that sometimes can really turn them off. I don't know if you've ever done that. But it can turn them off sometimes, to really scare them. So having an assistant who can help me out with like helping me get interviews with people or getting permission on the fly, on the go, it would be great to have like a production assistant, or like the equivalent of like a production manager, on a film. Somebody who's got the clipboard in their hand. They look important, and they can have people sign releases and stuff like that, so you're playing by all the rules. Late to the party, says Melissa. Have you ever tried vendor wax? If so, which ones? I have not tried vendor wax. And trust me, it's not that I don't want to. It's just, it's keeping up with everything else, you know? Right now, I don't want to give specific names, but I'm working with a lot of candle companies. So it's like whenever there's a window open for me to say, okay, let me try this now, something else pops up and surprises me. The Homeworks candle, for example. The Homeworks, those 2 videos, completely a surprise. Was not a part of July's agenda. So, I would love to go to more trade shows. The Big E is something I'm really thinking about this year, but I've never been there before. Big E I'm sure everyone in New England knows what that is, but I've never been, and I really need to be educated on what it's all about, because it's not just like a day or two. I'm gonna go there and meet a lot of, I'm sure there'll be a lot of small batch candle companies. I know Cottage Wicks will be there. I'm not sure if Witch City Wicks. I don't know if Liz goes there. Bless you, Elsa. I don't know if she goes there, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people, and it's a great opportunity for me just to hand out the card, meet people, get some footage, and also have a good time. Jump on a Ferris wheel, take you guys along with me. You know what I mean? Uh, Angie, you'll love it, says Nancy. Melissa, we read your comment. Jennifer says the Delano Hotel is such a gorgeous hotel. It's that. Plus, it is. Plus is that it's a non-smoking hotel. Plus is that it's not you. It's me. I can't read, Jennifer. A non-smoking hotel. Well, that's a plus. Every time I get a non-smoking room, which is always, um, smells like smoke or other things that people like to burn, not candles. Wow, see what's happening? Like, I'm coming across comments. You know why? I have Top Chat on. There's two options. There's Top Chat and then there's Live Chat. Live Chat puts everything in chronological order. That's the mistake I'm making. I don't know how it prioritizes your comments. But that's the mistake I'm making. Wow. Okay. So I think I'm caught up. Yeah. Freight. Okay, so here we go. Freightland is terrifying, says Lisa. Beautiful. So you're familiar. You're confirming what I said. I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name who owns it, and I feel it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember his name, but I need to contact him because maybe we'll go there this year. Rachel says there's a haunted farm in New Hampshire. I think you'd like it, Shane. It's called Haunted Overload, I believe. I haven't been there, but the photos are gorgeous. Cool. Screenshot time. Better than the hayride at Headless Horseman. Okay, so a story about Headless Horseman hayride, which is, what is it, Kingston, New York? Headless Horseman, according to Haunt World magazine, yes, that is a magazine, Haunt World magazine, started by Larry Kirshner back in the 90s. My brother really used to be in that industry, so I know a lot about the haunt industry. But the thing is with Headless Horseman hayride, I mean it's an experience. It's good, but you know, I think I really was. I think I was spoiled by Spooky World. And who made that comment? Was it Jennifer? Yeah. If you ever had experienced what Spooky World was, it puts Headless Horseman to shame. Although Headless Horseman is a very good hayride. And the reason why I brought up Haunt World magazine is because it was voted on multiple occasions the #1 haunted attraction in America. And Look, I have nothing bad to say about Headless Horseman. Maybe a few things, because I know the owner very well. And I just don't understand how they've gotten that title. Because there's so many places like Freightland, Spooky World. Somebody mentioned that Spooky World exists in New Hampshire or someplace else right now. Yes, somebody did buy the name Spooky World, but trust me, it's not the Spooky World of the old days. Spooky World was created by a gentleman called David Bernalino, and he moved Spooky World. It was kind of forced out of Berlin, Massachusetts, and they literally were right on the property of the Patriots Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and they were there for several years, but it just didn't have that same farm feel. So he auctioned off everything, including the name. So there's been a lot of people who've owned the name Spooky World throughout the years. I'm not saying anything good or bad about those attractions, whoever owns Spooky World these days, but it's not. I mean, imagine if Walt Disney sold Disneyland to, I don't know, Cecil B. DeMille. It would probably be cool too. It would probably be awesome, but it's not Disney. There are a million haunted farms in New Jersey. That is true. I love the Blaze. That was awesome. I think Nancy's referring to the. I don't know if Nancy, have you been there or are you talking about my video? The Blaze was really cool. I just want the fire, candles, and hot chocolate. You can keep the skiing. That's kind of how I feel, Violet. But I'm gonna go skiing for the sake of the comedic value. Yes, Miracle on Ice. Nancy is confirming that I was right. The comment I made a while ago. Well, I was planning on going to Sleepy Hollow this October, but just found out that the 40th anniversary of John Carpenter's Halloween will be at the Convention Center in Pasadena, California, so I have to go. Yeah, I didn't know about that. Pasadena. That's an odd location for a convention. I guess not. I mean, it was shot. The original film was shot in South Pasadena, in part. So that makes sense. Cool, Nikki. Sleepy Hollow will always be there. Trust me. It's been there for a couple hundred years, several hundred years. And I know how much John Carpenter and Halloween mean to you, so I would definitely check that out. Plus, who knows how long John Carpenter is going to be making public appearances the way he does. Been watching off and on while I pack my RV, says Travis. I will be snapping some pictures of my Candle Enthusiast mug way up in the Rockies. Awesome. So Travis has purchased his Candle Enthusiast mug via the Candle Enthusiast eBay official page. And I encourage you to do the same. And if you do, take a nice picture. We've had a picture at Disney World. We've had a picture in Salem. We've had a picture at the original Starbucks location at Pike Place in Seattle, and a bunch of other beautiful photos. Anthony from Candle Cafe took a cool photo of it and sent it to me. And up in the Rockies, that would be super cool. And make sure you go to the Facebook fan page, the Candle Enthusiast Facebook fan page, request to join, as long as you agree to be super cool. Because if there's kids, or we got folks of all ages, so as long as you keep things clean, we're happy to have you, and we would love to see those photos. At least I would love to see those photos. Nikki, is it forbidden to talk about the 40th anniversary of things? Is it forbidden to talk about 40th anniversary of things that were the #1 movie when I was born? It's a big debate. It's a big debate. It's a big concept, a big topic, not a concept. I want this Halloween movie to be successful. And Nikki, I'm sure you know, but let me just state this for everybody. Do you know that Nick Castle, the guy who actually played Michael Myers for 90% of the shots in the original film, is playing Michael Myers? And if you look at the mask, it's the mask in the new film doesn't look like it's distressed, like it's an old latex mask that's been sitting around for 40 years. The mask looks as if it's a real human face that has aged. A little bit of sagging, a little bit of wrinkles, the hair is gone gray, a little bit more of the jowl action, which is interesting. I feel like that's gonna play a part in the story of this new film. So and that new mask is, say what you will about sequels, timelines, remakes, the mask is awesome. It really, really is highly impressive. I mean, Lisa says preview party, yeah, going again this year. Lisa, you go. So the preview party in South Deerfield, is that where you're going? If you're going, I will be there. A lot of people have been asking that question. Am I going to be at the South Deerfield preview party. I will certainly be there this year. So if you see me, make sure you stick your head in the frame, get in the vlog, say hello. Rachel's heading out. I think she said that a long time ago. Bye, Rachel. Bye, Rachel. Um, I go back and rewatch your videos often. I especially love anything Christmas themed. Thank you so much for saying that. That means so much to me. Not really camping, says Travis, when I will have full hookups and Wi-Fi. His RV trip is he's talking about. I know YouTubers who add podcasts for their Patreon. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Nicole. That's a cool idea. My concern is I don't want to ever charge money for content. When I started this, I kind of made a promise that I will never have exclusive content that will require people to pay money. Anyone will be able to watch anything I produce, and I kind of like that. I'm going to stick with that. But I think that's a great idea. A lot of people do have like select content that's only available to Patreon users. I think that's what you're trying to allude to, Nicole. You should check out some weird New Jersey sites in Atlantic City. There's lots of those. I'm only going to be there for one night. I'm going to do as much as I can. Elsa's getting a little bit, she's getting a little bit uneasy. She's hearing some squirrels. I love it when Shane is eating dinner at that guy in the bathrobe. That's the Norman Rockwell video. It's funny, you know, that's what I mean. If you don't keep the camera rolling, you miss moments like that. That was a complete moment that was just captured by accident. I saw this guy who's clearly been drinking a lot of wine, walking through a semi, I'm not gonna say it was a white linen restaurant. It was a tavern, but it's not something you walk through in a bathroom. Did we lose Shane? Did we lose? I'm trying to read through these comments as fast as I can. Trying to catch up. And I am reading them. Okay, so the William Shatner mold, the Lal. I don't know how they made the new mask, but yes, the original Michael Myers mask was pulled from the original Don Post Star Trek Captain Kirk William Shatner mask. The producer Tommy Wallace says that there was about 6 of them, which makes perfect sense. Why from scene to scene, that all of the masks are slightly different. Some are stretched vertically, some are stretched horizontally. Some of them have different eye holes. So people, for years, decades, 40 years, have been trying to make the perfect replica of the Michael Myers mask, and it's nearly impossible because it also takes a large factor is it's a latex mask, right? So when you put it on, when William Castle, the guy who played Michael Myers for most of the film, when he puts it on, the shape of his face kind of changes the shape of the mask as well. So trying to get that perfect Michael Myers mask replica is impossible. I make my husband put the mask on when we have dinner on Halloween. Says Nikki. That's hardcore, Nikki. That's pretty cool. I prefer the Halloween 3 masks. Yeah, so Halloween 3, the Season of the Witch, no Michael Myers there, but there was 3 masks also made by Don Post, the witch, the jack-o'-lantern, and the skull. Those molds are long gone. So is that William Shatner mold. And if they still were around, they were made out of plaster back in those days. And plaster shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. It never stops. It keeps shrinking. So if you pulled a William Shatner mask out of the original mold, if the mold still existed, the mask would be about that big. But there's a lot of great replicas out there. This was scary when I was growing up. We had a haunted house in the basement of our church. Ooh, that's controversial. And yes, that would be scary. That would be scary. I won't lie. I never went to Sunday school. I went to Monday night school because I didn't want to get up on Sunday morning. So my parents said, "Okay, we'll take you on a Sunday or Monday night." And I remember like sometimes they would have me go into the church, and man, being a young kid in a grandiose empty church in the dark, pretty scary. So I can imagine a haunted house being, in the basement of a church being a bit terrifying. I literally almost split my stitches from laughing so hard when watching that video. My all-time favorite. I think Nikki's referring to the Norman Rockwell. Thank you. That was I love that video. If I'm like editing a long video, I'll put that on in the background. It kind of reminds me. It reminds me why I put so much effort into editing and stuff. Remember, all that was done on a cell phone, but sometimes when you're editing, you have a tendency to get lazy. And if I watch that, I'd be like, no, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Put in the extra time. Make this a special moment. But I want to get back to those videos. I want to get back to those adventure videos. You know what I mean? Carol says, "Great talk, everyone. Got to head out. Wish everyone have a great rest of the weekend. Have a great day." Carol, thank you for joining us today. There are some awesome replica masks available of the Halloween 3 mask. Yes, I can. Yes, they really do. And they even have like the shamrock thing, right? It's not a perfect film, but if there's any horror film fans out there who hasn't seen Halloween 3 and objects to it because Michael Myers is not into it, go into it just looking at it as a completely different film. If they re-released that film on video and just called it Season of the Witch, I really do think it would receive a lot more respect. It stars Tom Atkins. John Carpenter did produce it. Tommy Wallace was the original producer of Halloween. Produced it. I think even Deborah Hill, who was the original producer, had something to do with the film. Interesting, really interesting, scary concept. I do have my problems with the movie, but something you should check out on a dark, creepy evening if you want to give yourself the chills. Sounds like the Nun movie coming out, Nancy. What Nun movie is that? Is that a horror film? The Scary Nun? We had a haunted house in a nearby abandoned insane asylum. It was pretty cool. I can imagine. The cathedral at St. Divine has a procession of the ghouls every year that I've been dying to go to. Screenshot. Nancy goes, "I know, right? Sacrilegious." I mean, I'm okay with that. I have no qualms with that. I'm sure people would have a problem with that. And then Scott just throws in out of nowhere, "How goes the healthy living, Shane? Still on track?" No. Well, yes, I'm still on track. I'm still living healthily. Let me fix my hair for this question. I've made a lot of efforts to improve my health physically and mentally. Mentally, it's really important that I say mentally because we're all born with certain things, idiosyncrasies. We all have levels of anxiety and stress and stuff like that, right? And we let them get out of control sometimes. But sometimes you can get into an area, at least I felt I was getting into an area where it's out of your control. Like you're too far deep into what you've created for yourself. So my plan was to do a 10-week challenge, living enthusiastically. You guys know about this. I made 2 videos and left it off at a cliffhanger, and then I stopped because I realized that this wasn't the way to tell the story. The way to tell the story is to film, not 10 weeks necessarily, but film a more in-depth experience of what I'm truly going through. Not trying to script something, not trying to set up a challenge for myself, but film something with substance, and then really make it personal. Really make it personal. Tap into some things from my past. Maybe introduce some footage that I've never used that pertains to my anxieties, social phobias, things of that nature. And so one day, when I figured out that living enthusiastically special, it was supposed to be a 10-part video, it will be released as kind of a mini documentary. But, and I have no problem sharing this. The biggest problem I've had is weight loss, and it's not weight. I shouldn't say weight loss. It's weight gain. Something is happening with my body that no doctor has been able to pinpoint. Because if you look at me now versus like 1 year ago, I've gained a lot of weight, and this is something that has happened to me all my life. But this is like, I eat good. I eat good. Do I have like, like seasonal treats here and there? Do I have a scoop of ice cream here and there? Yeah. Do I go to fast food places? No. Do I drink soda? No. Do I eat tons of sugar? No. So it's just really weird that I put on so much weight in such a small amount of time. So it became a serious concern, because diabetes does run in my family, and I wanted to make sure I could pinpoint that what was going wrong. But instead of being secretive about it and trying to hide it and trying to be embarrassed about it, because I don't mind sharing my personal life, I wanted to document the experience. But I quickly realized that it was not going to be a 10-week challenge that was going to fix this problem. It was really going through a lot of efforts, and excuse me that I'm going off on a tangent, everybody, but I'm going through a lot of efforts to find out what belongs in my diet, what doesn't, because it's very clear that certain things should not be in my diet. There's certain things that affect me in a very negative way, like gluten. I don't think I have celiac disease, but gluten, or let's just say wheat to be safe, has the potential to really alter my mood. So it's things like that that I'm really working on. So Scott, to answer your question, yes, I think the healthy living, I am still on track, but it's not like this before and after kind of thing. It's not like that. I'm on a perpetual journey of trying to get to a healthier place mentally and physically, because both of those, they really are tied together, in my humble opinion, and millions of other people. Adventures are great, but I think your strength is your scent evaluations. It was truly separates you from other vloggers. Thank you, Violet. I appreciate that dearly. I really do. And I will always do scent candle evaluations. But what I do hope is that, say, the second channel, Aromatically Speaking, will allow me to do make more documentary style videos. It's hard to say it. Like, what's the difference between a vlog and man, it's a tough conversation. I was having this with somebody recently, and the only way I could describe it, like, how would I describe the kind of videos I want to make? And the best way I can describe it is a day in a life, but not just like the minutia of daily life. Like, today I'm going to the dentist office, so I'm going to make a vlog. No, but when I say day in the life is, I'm going to go on a personal journey today. Like the Mary Tyler Moore video, right? That was a personal journey that I convinced myself I wanted to do this. I had the time, I wanted to do it. It was something that was very important to me. And to be able to document it, share it, present it in a way where maybe you guys could feel a little bit of the emotions that I was going through, that's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal. Now, I don't want to make sad videos. I don't want to focus on sad concepts like the passing of Mary Tyler Moore, but I remember I was at In February, I was sitting at the Red Lion Inn filming evaluations inside my beautiful room at the Red Lion Inn, but outside Stockbridge, Massachusetts, beautiful day. I look outside in between a take, and I see like families, tourists walking around, going into the shops, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I should be out there with the tourists, uh, having fun, getting it on camera, sharing with you a day in the life of um little aromatic or just adventures, nostalgic adventures, bringing you along and sharing stuff with you that I think is imp- not important, but something that I think I can make a point and say, this is something that you're going to want to see. This is something I want to see, and this is why I think it's important that, or maybe not important, but maybe this is why I think you would enjoy it too. And the more of those kind of videos I can put out, the more creative satisfaction I will have. Candle evaluation videos, I love doing it. I love seeing everyone's positive reactions. But creatively, it holds me back because it really doesn't take much creativity. You know, I trained for 6 years. I was in a classroom. On average, I would smell and taste 18 wines a day, right? I would smell 18 different varieties of sage in one day. On another day, I would do a tasting of 19 different scotches. And I'm not saying I was plastered and drunk all the time when I was studying to become a sommelier, but because I would expect right would spit. But the point is that I trained to be able to use my nose, and I worked with customers enough to be able to say, like, if I tell them this smells like a certain variety of sage, they're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. If I say this candle smells like a certain variety of sage, you're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. But if I can describe it in a way, communicate it in a way where you guys can understand it, that's why I love using candies as descriptions, because everyone can relate to that. Everyone knows and can remember the smell of tropical starburst, but not everybody knows what dragon fruit or star fruit or passion fruit smells like, right? Are you licking me? Is that what's happening now? You're licking me? I have had my thyroid checked multiple times, Angie, and apparently it's all good. I've had minor tests done, and I've had like not extreme, but like in-depth tests done. And the last endocrinologist I said gave me full bill of health, said you look fine, your thyroid is normal. So, oh, you're not asking, you were saying, and Nikki was asking. Stress is crazy on our bodies. Yes, Nancy, and you know what? Honestly, the weight gain, I would not be surprised if it was largely due to the lack of sleep that I get, because my mind is always working. It's always thinking about what I can do. Does it sound strange that I can't sit down and watch a movie? Because if I sit down and watch a movie, I feel guilty that I'm not working. And yet, I'll waste time like watching short YouTube videos, like 5-10 minute YouTube videos. So I end up procrastinating a lot throughout the day. Look at this. I'm not procrastinating now. We're doing a live show, but I mean, a part of me is saying, well, I could be getting work done right now. So that is something I need to stop. I need to realize that, you know, it's like, it's not how many hours in the day can you work. It's about getting your work done in the allotted amount of time that you have in the day. And I'm seeing here, Scott's saying, sorry for going off tangent. Don't be sorry. Thank you for asking. It actually brings up something that I should be talking about. This is a Q&A. That's really what this really started out as. Michelle says, sorry that you're going through this. Well, thank you, Michelle. I mean, I know we all have our things. We all have our things. So if I appreciate the sorry from you. The sentiment really does mean a lot. but you know, I extend it out to everybody. I know all of us have our issues that we deal with, no matter how big or small. They still play a large role on our personal health. Um, you know, so it's I'm just happy that you know I'm all right with sharing. I really don't mind. I don't mind sharing um, most of what's going on. You know, I just because it's like it's so much easier for me to just say it other than to hide it. One of the reasons why I started vlogging is to get over social phobia, and I recommend that to anybody who has strong hang-ups on social phobias or speaking in public or being an extreme introvert. I was and am still all of those things, but you know, vlogging, getting your face in front of the camera, it took me 48 hours to get over, oh, I can't stand hearing the sound of my voice. Well, you know what? You get over it. And it really is, and it's enhanced my life. It's been the best form of therapy or medication that I could have ever asked for, as starting a channel and getting up and making videos and putting myself out there. I love your adventures as well as your evaluations. Whatever direction you take your vlogging, I look forward to it because I can tell you with all of your experience, you've got lots there. I probably butchered your sentence, but I got your sentiment, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Yes, you know, I like I said, I come from a wine background, but I also come from a film background. And the filmmaker in me is really itching to get out there and start telling little stories. Life changes can be stressful, even the changes that we want to make. Exactly, like moving. I lived in California, moved to New York. This was 2 years ago now, but that was a huge moment of my life. And not something that you can easily adapt to. Sometimes, you know, I still think I'm in California. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the taco truck tonight. No, that would require about a 3,000-mile drive. I love candle evaluations and the adventures on your channel. And when you do candle evaluations and adventures, makes for a truly great video. Travis, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Elsa, the queen over here. There's a fan right here. She's really enjoying that. As the movie actors saying go, do 3 for the studio, 1 for yourself. Yeah. And although that might sound, you know, like, I enjoy everything that I do. But where I'm sure like Steve Carell doesn't enjoy all the things that he does. Or maybe Steve Carell's not a good choice. Maybe Jim Carrey or something. I don't know. We all know those actors. Jennifer Aniston she's a fantastic actor. She's proved herself to me in several different occasions. The Good Girl, or Good Girl, whatever it was called. That last one she made, Cake. She's a fantastic actress, and yet she's always in these, I'm not saying they're bad, but these kind of like, these movies where she's not really getting to really use her craft. But you know, it is what it is. Adam Sandler, Punch Drunk Love, holy moly, was that a great performance. Spanglish, holy moly, Adam Sandler, you can really act. So why do you, I won't go there, but why don't you make better movies, Adam Sandler? Why don't you just like once every so often work with a good director? Not that the directors you work with are bad, but work with a director who, you know, you put out a good movie, because you actually really have some talent, Adam Sandler. And you're not just because you're funny, but you can really act. Um, Cookie Hills this says something that's very important. I can relate to what Cookie's saying. I find it very hard to turn my mind off. Yeah, so when I close my eyes, my third eye, or whatever you want to call it, my other eye's open. When I close my eyes when I try to sleep, my other eye's open. They're my creative eyes, the eyes of flashing images of memories and ideas and the past, and I don't have voices in my head, thank God, or anything like that, but I have a lot of visuals, which really does help me when it comes to sensory evaluation and aroma, because when I smell something, guess what? Images flash through my mind. But I can definitely relate to what Cookie Hill's saying. I find it hard to turn off my mind, because I do too, because my visuals, whether it be my eyes closed or open, are always working. Michelle says, I feel the same way. I think we waste our time thinking we're wasting our time. That's beautifully put. Caesar says, procrastination is my second name. It's my middle name. It's not my middle name. I don't have a middle name. That's a Capricorn thing, Shane. Well, I am a Capricorn, Nancy. I have movie watching guilt, says Violet. I have to do something else at the same time, but I have improved. I'm glad, because we all should take the time to watch movies. And I did it the other night. I forced myself. I watched A Quiet Place. I didn't burn A Calm and Quiet Place by Yankee Candle while watching it, but I really, really like Emily Blunt. Like, I think I don't know what the first thing I saw her in was, but like, I always thought she was such a beautiful, talented actress. And like, how beautiful is it that decades later, here she is playing my most beloved childhood character, Mary Poppins. Emily Blunt, playing Mary Poppins in a movie theater near you. Thanksgiving or Christmas, I can't remember. But I had to watch it. And John Krasinski directed it. Interesting film, not at all what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more of a horror film. I don't want to ruin it, but it's not really a horror film. God, I'm really falling behind. That's what happens when you're self-employed and self-directed. It's challenging. So yes, I am self-employed, self-directed, but I also am, I guess I'm self-employed in multiple facets. I can safely say I do not have a boss. Paralysis from analysis. I do it all of the time, says Scott. I like that. Well, I don't like that, but the phrasing of it, I enjoy. Angie says, oh Lord, vlogging seems terrifying to me. Angie, do it. Don't show anybody. Just do it and share it for yourself. And I think you'll be surprised if you do it for a couple days. You'll end up really laughing at some of the things that you'll say. You'll start to understand a little bit more of why your friends think you're funny. You'll understand why there's certain things about you that your friends enjoy, and you can embrace those kind of qualities and focus on them and enhance them. I never thought I was a funny person. I still don't think I'm a funny person, but I can get why people laugh at things that I do and say. You know, making fun of my hair has always been an issue, right? So I kind of always poke at that, because I know that I have Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka hair. It's very whimsical and curly, and there's really nothing I can do about it. But it's really helped me to just kind of just say, dang it. Not dang it. Dang it. It's not what I wanted to say. What's it? Heck it. Heck it. Hashtag Tim Tracker. I do tons of public speaking, says Nicole, who also watches the Tim Tracker. And I hate it every time, but it's true. You get used to it. You really do. You really do. And maybe the nervousness doesn't go away, but you get better at it. This is so off course, but it's the start of Shark Week in Discovery. Shark Week. I thought it was in August. Okay, Shark Week. I don't get Discovery. I don't have cable. I have an Apple TV. I can definitely identify with being an extreme introvert myself. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a problem, but I think people who, or let's say, are extroverted find it very difficult to understand um, why certain social situations are difficult, and vice versa. I have the summers off because I work at our local schools here in Delaware, and I get more done during the school year. Go figure, yeah. It's really hard to be self-disciplined. Plus, well, I mean, go easy on yourself. I mean, summertime is a hard. It's hard. I mean, especially if you're trying to get like, if you're working at the school and then in the summer you're trying to get work done at home. It's hard. It's hard. It's hot. I mean, this week, today's not so bad, but the past few days, whew. Along Came Polly. I like that movie a lot. Again, Jennifer Aniston, good Jennifer Aniston film. Thank you for bringing that one up. I did enjoy that one. I really did. I'm in grad school and I gained 20 pounds due to stress. I believe it, Grace. Stress can do that to you. College can do that to you. Grad school can do that to you. I've experienced that myself. We actually discussed how stress affects the body in one of my classes. Relaxation exercises is a part of my daily routine and has helped. I can't tell you how many times. Thank you, Grace, for sharing that, and also kind of putting that out there for not just for me, but for everybody else. But a lot of people have reached out to me and said, you know, why don't you meditate? Why don't you, get into something like yoga, which is kind of, you're getting your workout, you're getting your relaxation and meditation at the same time. And it's, again, it's there's really no specific reason. I can give a lot of excuses why I don't. I could say meditation make me stressed out because I'm not getting work done. Yoga is not going to happen. Look, I do go to the gym. I spend time in the gym, but I put my headphones on and I zone out. I am not a socialite when I go to the gym. Are you? Are you a socialite when you go to the gym? But I just can't. I just like when like personal trainers come up and talk to me, or if I bump into someone I know, it really it drives me nuts. So being in a room filled with sweaty people, I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, you sweat when you're yoga, but like being around tight clothing and nakedness and sweat and like grazing people by accident and like feeling clamminess. I like to keep a certain amount of distance. I like people. I like people. I just don't want to touch them when they're sweaty, nor do I want to like smell them at their worst. And the same goes for me. I mean, I look like Sasquatch when I work out. I sweat through my shirt. The dark circles under my eyes get worse. My hair gets really crazy. I don't want people seeing me like that. And if they see me like that, they especially kids, they run, they cry, and they run away in the other direction. I recommend the book Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. That's a really interesting name for a book. Screenshot. I like that. Especially the world that can't stop talking part. Don't you wish there was a national Be Quiet Day? Shh, like literally, everyone, don't say a word. Shut your mouth. Go outside, plant something, build something, make something. Everyone just go, and even cut off communication. Just spend one day, nobody talks. That would be a very interesting experiment. It would never happen, but of course, I would love to see it happen. Because some of my most some of my most how do I want to say this? Days where I feel like are most healthy are days where I can spend being quiet and, working on projects and being quiet and not communicating. I can't live that way. But sometimes you need to disconnect. You need to disconnect. I'm kind of stealing lyrics here from Tool, the rock band. But you need to disconnect, kind of disassemble yourself, reassemble, and then when you're ready, reconnect. It's something that I feel like, in my opinion, we're built. That's the way we're built, but we never have that opportunity. When's the last time you've had an opportunity to truly disconnect from your life, to give up all your responsibilities, to give up all of your daily activities, to give up all of your obligations to friends and family? How often do we have that opportunity to truly disconnect? And like I said, take everything apart, right? Evaluate, reassemble, prepare yourself, and then reconnect and jump back into it. Luckily, I've created a life for myself where I can do this, and if you ever have the opportunity, I recommend it. Horrible bosses. Funny. It was funny. Okay. And she was good. She was really good. Waterboy is so funny. Funny. I'll agree. Wait a minute. Did you see that she's doing a movie with Tig Notaro, where she's playing the President of the United States? Jennifer Aniston? The smart water lady? I love Jennifer. She was my number one crush when I was 6 years old. I had a crush on Jennifer Aniston before Friends. Years before Friends. How many people can say that? It's nothing to brag about, Shane. It's nothing to brag about. Here's a trivia question. How did I know Jennifer Aniston before Friends? I'm gonna accept two answers. I love sharks, but I'm terrified of whales. Go figure. It's a serious phobia. Then I won't make a joke. I was very scared of Monstro from Pinocchio when I was a kid. I guess I'm turning this into a joke. I apologize. I don't mean to turn that into a joke, Nancy. But Monstro really did scare me in Pinocchio. Marwayne? Am I pronouncing your name right? Marwayne? Hello? And Jennifer says yoga is not relaxing. And Marwayne says, let it out, baby. Do some push-ups. I got no problem with that. I'm actually pretty good at push-ups. I'm even better at pull-ups. Hey Shane, have you seen Won't You Be My Neighbor? The Mr. Rogers documentary. I'm waiting for the right time. It's a very emotional topic for me. God, that sounds so weird. To say Mr. Rogers and a documentary is an emotional topic for me. It really is. I kind of somehow feel like this is gonna sound so stupid, but maybe some of you guys can see where I'm coming from. There's a part of me that feels like, the good old days, Pee-wee's Playhouse, Sesame Street, of course, Mr. Rogers, the entertainment made for children. Of course, years of your adolescence go by, you forget. 20s goes by, you forget. But then you start something like I'm doing now, and you kind of start to reconnect with what those people were trying to do, trying trying to create content for um, very, very young, imaginative people, and especially the kids that are really just filled with imagination and excitement, and they thrive on fantasy. And so, whenever I, create something and I see, every now and then someone will send me a picture of their child or children watching one of my videos. And for a brief moment, I kind of get choked up because it's like, wow, man, it's like, I did watch Mr. Rogers. I did watch Pee Wee's Playhouse. I did watch Sesame Street. And, like, if these kids remember me in even the smallest way, again, don't make fun of me, but if these kids, when they're my age, remember me even in the smallest way, and they think back fondly, the way I think back fondly to Mr. Rogers, that's gonna just be such a special thing. That's just such a wonderful thought. And it's like, wow, it's like, again, it's just that another reason why I need to keep putting out art into the world in video form, because I would love to think that would be true. I would love to meet someone when I'm 65, 70 years old and say, I used to watch you. Remember YouTube? There'd be just be this kid, be like, oh man, I used to watch YouTube when I was a kid. Remember when that was around? And I watched you, and you kind of made me laugh every so often. That would make all of this worth it. But I will see Won't You Be My Neighbor very soon. Again, it's a little bit of me being very, in my mind, being very busy and my schedule being jam-packed. Don't mind the screaming children. That has nothing to do with me. I assure you, the kids are having fun, and they're not my children, and they're not on my property. They're just neighbors. They're kids. They're having a good time. It's summer. That's what they do. So never mind the screaming children. You could do a silent retreat. I feel like I do silent retreats all the time. New Hampshire, that little cabin I stay in when I go to the Santa's Village, man, oh man. Is that, like, I'm going to be looking forward to that every year. The description of the possible yoga gym interactions is exactly spot on. Excruciating, you are not alone, Shane. Well, thank you for sharing that. Kate guessed Leprechaun, and so did Violet Moon. Leprechaun. So Leprechaun, 1991, by not TriStar, Tritone. It was a knockoff of TriStar Pictures. But yes, 1991, directed by Mark Smith, which ironically, there's a Mark Smith here on the Candle Enthusiast. But yeah, man, I love that. That is a fun movie. The original. There was a couple remakes, and then Lionsgate bought the rights because the original movie production studio went under, and it became its own franchise. So a lot of people know Leprechaun for like Leprechaun in the Hood and stuff like that, Warwick Davis. But that original Leprechaun movie, what's interesting is it was a child's movie. It was made for kids. It was like meant to be played on like Saturday mornings, like Saturday morning programs for children. But when they brought back the footage and they showed the footage to the producers, they're like, this makeup is a little bit creepy. This is a little bit not, it's not the fantasy film that we were going for. This might scare children. So the director and the producers were given the task of going back to the filming locations, reshooting a lot of scenes, making the makeup even more scary, and turning it into a horror film. The original Leprechaun film was not a horror movie. It was a movie made for like young adults, and it makes perfect sense if you watch it, because it's like it had like the kid from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. It had the guy from Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Jennifer Aniston. I'm still waiting for that answer. What was Jennifer Aniston in before Leprechaun that I would know her from? It might be Days of Our Lives. Was she in Days of Our Lives? That's not the answer I was going for, but if she was in Days of Our Lives, Michelle, good for you. That's good. That's good. I didn't know that, but I'm still looking for something else. Um, but yeah, so interesting fact about the original Leprechaun film. And I think if you watch it, you rewatch it, you'll definitely get that sense. And you'll clearly understand the scenes that were added to turn it into a horror film. Because the scenes that are so PG or G, and then there's scenes that are like just pure gore. I love the Good Girl movie she was in, says Nicole. Yeah, I mean, um, The Catcher in the Rye, I'm being so critical. But at the time I saw it, I think I was a college student, or maybe I was younger. But I was a big fan of Catcher in the Rye. I felt like the movie didn't need that. It was kind of explaining the character too much. But that was my high school, college opinion of the film. So maybe I would think differently now if I rewatched it. But I remember her performance, and it was amazing. And you could you really did feel like, Rachel from Friends, like this character that everybody in the world knows and fell in love with. She, you could truly believe that she was this kind of somewhat damaged girl next door, and the fact that she could pull that off and hide the fact that she was like America's sweetheart is amazing. Nancy's giving me permission to laugh at being afraid of whales. I won't laugh at it, but it's just I would be afraid of a whale if I saw one. I admit I got a little dusty in the theater when I was watching a couple different. Okay, I admit I got a little dusty in the theater when I was watching it on a couple different occasions. Dusty. Okay, Nikki's sharing my question mark. Maybe dusty is code word in Eric's language. Oh, he means. Okay, why else would my eyes water? I see what you mean. That's where I thought you were going with that. Cookie says, I get you, Shane. I will say no more. Always feel free to say as much as you want, Cookie. You're always willing to say as much as you want, but I'm glad that you get me. You've always gotten me. My nephew is 3 and he loves to smell candles, but he started when he was a year and a half. That's really cool. That's really cool. Did I reach the end of the comments? Maybe it's because you guys are all gone. No, you're still here. Camp, oh God. Cucamonga. Wow, vaguely remember that movie, and she was in it. I don't remember that one, Scott. I'm speaking of, there was a very short-lived spin-off television show of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm not sure what it was called, but she played Jennifer Grey's part, the sister, in the Ferris Bueller show. It was a very short-lived show. Yeah, she played the sister. Ferris Bueller, how about this? Has anyone who's brought this up recently, if ever? Was Furious. Was Ferris Bueller the first vlogger of all time? You know how, like, there's a very special moment in the movie Sunset Boulevard starring William Holden, right? And Gloria Swanson, of course. Directed by Billy Wilder. I mean, like, it's probably one of my favorite directors, if not my favorite directors. But the opening scene, I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but it really, if you watch it, you're going to see it in the first scene. William Holden, the star of the film, is dead, floating in a pool, yet he's doing a voiceover saying that he's dead. So this was a huge moment in cinematic history, that you have essentially the narrator, the teller of the story, the god, if you will, of the story, telling the story from a state where he's already admitting he was dead. This was clearly referenced in a film in the 90s. It was redone. Who can name that film? But my point was about Ferris Bueller was in very much the same way. Was Ferris Bueller's Day Off the first vlog? I mean, there was many films where they broke the fourth wall, right? Breaking the fourth wall, we all know that, right? Where you address the audience directly. But that movie really was done in such a way where it really is in a vlog style. So much so that I think so many vloggers, very famous ones, even Casey Neistat, still to this day take, kind of cues from the way that movie was made. Was Ferris Bueller's Day Off the first ever vlog? And was Ferris Bueller the first vlogger? Or I guess you could say John Hughes, the director, was he the first director? Travis with American Beauty, which was the answer I was going for. And Laura coming in second there with the correct answer. Yeah, so Kevin Spacey in the first moments of the film admitting he is deceased. But Sunset Boulevard, Violet, like in Fight Club. I mean, I guess we could use that as an example as well. A lot of firsts in Fight Club. And Violet Moon says, I like the theory that Ferris only exists in Cameron's imagination. I like that theory too. It's cool. Here's a theory for you. Not a theory, but here's a question for you. I'm sorry, it's going back to Mary Poppins. What is Mary and Bert's relationship? They know each other. They're very fond of each other. They've had experiences with each other. Don't Google this. Don't. I really want you to think about this. If you're a Mary Poppins fan, you grew up with Mary Poppins, really think about that for a second. Wait a minute. It's like, I'm gonna quote what Dick Van Dyke says. Bert says, winds from the east, I quote this all the time, winds from the east, mist coming in, like something is brewing. Winds from the, I have to sing it. Winds from the east, wind coming in, like something is brewing, about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen has all happened before. That's a very moving, prominent moment in the movie where everything just comes to a screeching halt, and there's such a dramatic moment where Bert is looking at the sky so fondly, saying this, clearly suggesting he knows what's happening. Mary Poppins is coming back. So my question to you is what, and you don't have to answer this now, maybe this is a great question of the day, so when this video is posted, you can come back and leave it in the comments. Please don't Google other people's theories, especially if Mary Poppins is a movie that you grew up with, because it's a good chance something that you probably haven't thought of before. But what was, in your mind, Bert and Mary's relationship? Was it a romantic relationship? Were they related? What was going on? What do you think? Clarissa Explains It All was a vlog style show. Excellent point, Sammy. Thank you. That I would never have in this moment remembered that, so I'm so glad you brought that up. And wouldn't we agree that Clarissa Explains It All was very Ferris Bueller? Don't we think that it was kind of a response to Ferris Bueller? Not that that's a bad thing. Violet Moon is saying, I always wondered about that. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys an open invitation Q&A. We still have 30 people watching. Any questions? Throw them in my direction right now, because we're going to start to wrap things up while I start to describe a few things. It would be great if you did a Game of Thrones episode analysis. I played with that idea for a while, and like, it's got to be epic or it can't be done at all. So, because the season, the last season doesn't come out for a while still, this gives me plenty of time to truly put together a great way to pull that off. Jennifer, I promise I will be addressing that. Um, um, Eric, I'm reading your comment, but I can't evaluate it at the moment. No, Parker Lewis can't lose, was the response to Ferris Bueller. Where's the response to Ferris Bueller? It's okay, baby. Don't be scared. I have to think about that. Good afternoon, night, everybody. Heading out with the family. Have fun. Jennifer, thank you for joining. Angie, are you suggesting she was Bert's nanny back in the day? That's interesting, Angie. That's a great take. But maybe if you have the time and are bored, come back and elaborate on that. Why would you? Why that's? I think that's a great theory. But I would love to hear how that kind of came up and why that would work. Parker Lewis was a fun show. Really have to. Okay, it's not that I don't know Parker Lewis. I'm getting my timeline of activities mixed up. Just popping in to say hello. Sorry I couldn't join earlier today. No problem, Anne Marie. But glad to see your face. Thank you for joining. Would you ever go back into film again, behind the camera? Cookie Hill. I will be. I will be working on my brother's next feature film. If you don't know about my brother's next feature film, it is, well, I'm sure Cookie you know, but a lot of people may not know. It's a very extravagant, kind of a Jim Henson-like film, where it deals with live action, it deals with puppeteering, it deals with perhaps animation, and it's a musical, so it's constructed in such a way that's far different than anything my brother has ever made and anything I've ever worked on. Lot of very exciting things are happening. There's some people attached to the film that I think I can share. I can share this. If anyone knows iJustine from YouTube, she will be in the film, which is super cool because I watched iJustine because she's a huge Apple nerd. I'm an Apple nerd, and my brother was even a bigger fan of her when she originally first started vlogging. So to see it all kind of come around and have her be a part of the film, some other really interesting names attached to the project as well. But we will be going into production. It's to be determined. But when it happens, you guys, you'll be informed. Are you going back to Sleepy Hollow again this year? Nikki, I don't. You know what? If there's something else you guys really want to see, I will. But there's really not that much. I could go and spend the day and take beautiful not photographs, but video shots and really capture the ambiance of Sleepy Hollow. But last year there was several issues with filming inside of the cemetery itself. And I get it. But the thing is, I'm very respectful when it comes to cemeteries. Cemeteries to me are places of peace and I don't know. I feel like it's such a tourist attraction that they have to bend the rules for the cemetery. So the cemetery is probably some place I won't be bringing a camera back to. But who knows? If anyone really has a great idea of something I could do in Sleepy Hollow, I'll do it. I really think I'm tapped out. I spent a lot of time in Sleepy Hollow. I know the area. I went to Washington Irving's house, which is great, but you can't film inside. So I mean, it's like, what else do you do? Um, there's a lot of great hiking involved. It's beautiful down there. It's right on the Hudson River. But again, other than just taking beautiful photography, it's a great place to visit and relax. But there's not a lot of like attractions for me to, not attractions, but like things for me to film, for us to experience together, other than me just walking. Do you think that there's a chance that Yankee Candle will ever revive the black band scents like Bluebell and Queen Anne's Lace? I don't think those will. I don't think those would be at the top choices. No, I mean, um, I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they choose. I know they choose these returning favorites really, really far in advance. In my opinion, far too early. Like I said, a year ago, they had already finalized the 2019 Christmas returning favorites. So that doesn't allow them the opportunity to find out what's trending. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think the best way to do that is to contact Yankee Candle in any way possible. But Yankee Candle, and this is not a knock on Yankee Candle, Yankee Candle is going through some massive, massive changes. And I think we all know that Yankee Candle has gone through massive changes. You know, they're owned by Newell Brands now, so they're a part of even a bigger company. But I think it's going to take several years for Yankee Candle to really understand how they want to define themselves, because I still think that they're just unsure who they are at this point and what they want to be and where they want to go. And that is not an insult to Yankee Candle. You know, I hope that these coming years that we see a lot of fun fragrances, but I also hope that in these coming years that they find a really great team of people who can come together, be passionate about what Yankee Candle was, is, and what it can be, and really map out a course for the next generation of Yankee Candle. I think that's what we're all hoping for. But in order to do that, I'm strongly recommending, and I'm not. This is not addressing this to you, Violet Moon. I'm addressing this to anyone who's on a Facebook fan page or left a comment about a Yankee Candle. Don't bash them. Don't say negative things. It's not just because I'm a positive person, but people want to know why Yankee Candle doesn't listen. They don't listen to the fans more often. Maybe because the fans aren't nice. Maybe it's because we're not being nice. And I understand why we can be aggravated at times, but to shout back is not a way to strengthen our relationship with Yankee. It just makes me so sick to my stomach to see people who like Yankee and buy Yankee products, but you go on some, I don't want to say just Facebook groups, but how people are just kind of, it's like a running joke. Yankee, they're terrible. Are you surprised that their products are terrible? I'm not surprised. Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Bad review, bad review, bad review, bad review. This doesn't smell. They don't burn. They don't burn. It's like, well, I get it. There's frustration involved, but to imagine how they feel hearing these very negative, cruel comments. It doesn't help. It doesn't help the cause of them wanting to reach out to us to communicate with us directly. I think if we were kinder and we were more forgiving and understanding, that maybe we would have Yankee Candle reaching out to us and seeing progress. I don't know. Some of those things you might agree with. Some of you might be saying, I don't buy it. But that's my take. That's my take. And Saved by the Bell, great. And I can't believe I'm not thinking about. Thank you for giving me the timeline too. Saved by the Bell, 1989. Parker Lewis, 1990. Thank you. That's what I needed to know. Clarissa, 1991. So clearly, this vlog thing, or addressing or breaking the fourth wall, started happening there. And then, well, YouTube didn't show up for a decade and a half later, really. Um, how did I get out of the cemetery when I was locked in Salem? So that was a Salem cemetery, Trisha, that I was locked in. I had to hop a stone fence. And the way I tell the story, this is exactly how it happened. I had my camera, which really wasn't a camera, it was just my phone on a little tripod. But I also had a cup of coffee in my hand. And it was a good cup of coffee. And I wanted to keep that cup of coffee. So I hopped this stone fence, and the drop to the other side was a little bit further than I was anticipating. It was night, it was jet black. So I really twisted my ankle bad. I spilt the coffee all over myself. I had already kind of spilt the coffee on myself before I jumped the wall. I dropped my camera, but the worst part of it was not like, oh, I just bit the dust. The worst part of it was that there was like several teenagers like right there that I didn't see at first, but they clearly saw me hit the ground. And they're just looking at me like, they're not even laughing. They're like, dude, man, like, you just have to get your life together. Like, what are you doing? You're in Salem Cemetery with a cup of coffee, with a tripod and a camera. I don't know what you were doing in there. Even teenagers were giving me the critical eye, judging me for my life choices at that moment. So that's how I got out. I had to climb a rock wall, and I fell pretty hard, and I hurt my knee pretty bad. In fact, the footage of the next day, I think you can see me limping a little bit. Are you going back to Salem this year, Michelle? Yes, I'm going back to Salem. I gotta make it happen. Gotta make it happen. You know, I just want to do a legitimate Salem trip. Especially, I just want to remind everybody that I went to Salem last year for Christmas and filmed a whole thing, a Christmas in Salem video. It was gonna be like a Christmas special. Lost all that footage on a hard drive crash, including an amazing interview with Liz from Witch City Wicks. So I wanted to just do another Salem video, but I also am collaborating with Liz from Witch City Wicks again. So, and I'm doing a lot of stuff in that general vicinity. I will be there soon. But if you see me there and it's not like, oh, it's not a real Salem video, he's just going to Witch City Wicks. Yes, I will be doing another Salem video, because guess what we haven't talked? We haven't talked about Nathaniel Hawthorne, right? I've never even addressed it in any of my videos, and we got to talk about that. So I got to do my Nathaniel Hawthorne research, maybe reread The Scarlet Letter. Last time I read it, I was 20 years old. So I want to reread it. The House of Seven Gables. I need to reread that as well. And then maybe we'll tie that in. But we'll also do some other fun stuff. Other fun locations. Apparently, there's, well, I don't want to ruin anything, but they made some recent discoveries regarding the history of Salem, certain locations. And if I'm missing any of your guys' comments, I apologize. I'm coming to Washington on your bucket list for places to... Is coming to Washington on your bucket list for places to visit? Yeah, it is. Pacific Northwest, Washington, even Vancouver is something I would love to do. Oregon, the Willamette Valley in Oregon, and I love Oregon, but of course, the Willamette Valley being wine country, and there's a lot of. I remember doing a lot of wine tasting when driving through Oregon. There's a lot of those old roadside attractions that really don't thrive that well anymore, and some of them are still open, like driving through a tree, stuff like that. When you're driving through the redwoods. So kind of a road trip from Northern California to Seattle would be really cool at some point. But then again, I also would love to do a road trip, old Route 66, at some point too. I've been saying that for a long time. And I fully admit that idea is completely inspired by Adam DeWoo. But hopefully I will be in Washington one of these days soon, Nikki. Well said regarding Yankee Candle. Thank you, Jennifer. And I think, Travis, you're referring to that as well. Everyone's saying all the best to you, Marshmallow Zap. Laura, I don't know. I missed your comment. But I'm going to wish you all the best too, even though I don't know what I'm wishing to. How exciting and nerve-wracking. All the best to you and your new arrival. Is there a baby coming? Laura? Great, Queen Anne's Lace, great scent. I think I have one with no black bands. I'm losing my way. Jennifer's laughing at the Salem story. I really loved when he recreated the scenes from Hocus Pocus. Would anybody be insulted if I just took that segment of that Salem video and reposted it as a separate video? I have a feeling a lot of people who it's like a lot of people would watch that Salem bit but would never find it because it's tucked into that Salem video. I was thinking about isolating it, maybe building on it and posting it separately, because I was really proud of myself finding that filming location. I never was put into a situation where I actually had to find a filming location when I was in a particular spot. Because I've always had addresses and directions, but I was so happy that I narrowed down the exact spot where the camera was set for that one epic shot in Hocus Pocus. Michelle says, I can't wait for that. Love all your Salem videos. I love them too. I just love Salem. And Angie says, I love your on-location videos. Looking forward to more. I am too. Winchester House. Jennifer, I would love to go. I passed all the time when I was driving from San Francisco or Napa Valley to Los Angeles. Every time I would go, I'm like, I should stop. And every time I drove by, I'm like, nah, they're going to close soon. However, here's the thing. They're making the movie, so the tourism is going to pick up. And the number one thing, no photography. So no still photography, no video photography, which would make it completely pointless to go, well, it's right outside of San Jose, right? To go really out to that area to do something, unless I got some kind of, if I was granted permission to film. Nikki's saying, I'll take you through the gorge if I go to Washington. That'd be fun. I would love to have like a tour guide in different areas when I go to different places. Can you stop off in Chicago on your Route 66 trip? If I make it that far, I'd probably start off at, the beginning of Route 66 is what? The Santa Monica Pier, right? If I make it out that far, I would love to go to Chicago. I would love to just go to Chicago in general. I definitely want to see, I want to see some more Witch City Wicks. Witch City Wicks content coming up, collaboration coming up, promo code coming up. But don't let that hold you up on purchasing. Because remember, as Liz starts working on her Halloween collection, a lot of her other fragrances go away for an extended period of time. So although you might want to wait to get some of her fragrances for the promo code, things like Holy Ground, things like the Salem candle, things like Bite Me, things like her new fragrance, Nightfall. Those things might be hard to get during the Halloween season. What about Houston? Houston is on the radar. Like I said, I have a great friend who lives in Houston, recently married. Um, also, we talked about doing Houston and then doing a cruise, kind of tying that together, me and my good buddy from high school. Um, and then San Antonio is something I want to do as well because of there's a Culinary Institute of America campus there in San Antonio. And I am an alumni from the Culinary Institute of America, so I would love to see it, and I'm sure I could schedule someone to give us a kind of a little mini tour. I just drove portions of Route 66 when I moved from Nevada to Kentucky. There's some really cool stuff out there. The windmill fields across Texas are really cool. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people might say Route 66 looks like decrepit and boring and it really doesn't exist anymore, but you really have to dig deep. And if you can, if you're someone who really appreciates nostalgia and things that once were, I think Route 66 is definitely something worth exploring. It's something I think is a perfect journey for me, so I would love to do it. Well, I gotta get going out to get Korean food. Yum, says Christina. Have a great night, everyone. You too, Christina, thanks for joining in. Gotta go, says Nikki. Everybody, thanks, Shane. Do the Salem repost. Okay, I'll do that, Nikki. Do it, I'll watch it, says Nancy. Repost it and isolate it. Why not? It was a lot of work. Okay, I think I'm getting a lot of, yeah, right? I mean, it's rather people are going to enjoy it and have seen it because they've watched it already, or people are going to think it's something that I've never posted. You have some great videos way back in your library. Thank you, Travis. You should repost them. I'm doing a lot of kind of promoting of my older videos. As you see, I do a lot of like kind of flashbacks, even in my candle evaluations. But I will do that. I will. I'm a full believer of, like, you know, when I first started YouTube, but everyone was saying, like, why are you putting so much together in one video, like separate it? But I didn't want to, and now I'm kind of feeling like why I should have. Armorillo really celebrates the Route 66 theme. That's cool. Good to know. So does Disneyland. California's Adventure, they have the whole Route 66 thing going on. I like that. You would probably like Austin. I think I would love Austin. Route 66 is awesome, says Trisha. I stayed in the Wigwam Motel. You didn't. She did. And Arizona, where the Pixar team stayed during the inspiration of the tour for Cars. Yes, so a lot of the Cars, a lot of great stops along Route 66 that were clearly inspired from the Pixar team. And so cool that you stayed in the Wigwam Motel. There's a lot of motels on Route 66 I would love to stay in. But for today, that I think is going to conclude everything. If anybody hasn't, for any reason, subscribed to this channel, unless you just really don't want to be subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up button. It would be really appreciated as well if you didn't do that. Here's the deal. YouTube changed their policies a long time ago, but the way it works is there's an extreme limitation put on this channel until we reach 1,000 subscribers, which I'm not in agreement with YouTube. I think I like the idea of having a small, intimate channel, but apparently we can't do a bunch of cool things that we can do on the Candle Enthusiast channel because of this limitation. So I think a goal for this channel is we got to get this up to 1,000 subscribers. Then we can really start doing things. I can start adding ads, which will help fund our adventures, especially with these long videos. I mean, we've been talking for an hour and a half, right? Do you know how much it doesn't? I mean, trust me, that's not a lot of money that YouTube gives us for an hour and a half of conversation. But it's silly not it seems wrong to me that YouTube uh, uh, doesn't consider people with less than 1,000 subscribers. They don't value that content just as much. It just doesn't make sense to me. Without the creators on YouTube, YouTube would be nothing. They deserve the creators really are what make YouTube. So, but let's get it up to 1,000 subscribers, and then like I said, Aromatically Speaking is really my project for 2019. But I am going to be starting to make some serious changes to this channel starting in September. Um, so we will legitimately have two channels. There will be the Candle Enthusiast and Aromatically Speaking, or a name that might be different. The Aromatically Speaking might be changed. But we'll always have these nice, relaxing Sunday chats. I'm glad we didn't have any cellular issues today, at least not many. And I want to thank everyone for joining in. That is it. Thank you for spending some time with me this Sunday, and I will be seeing you folks soon with some brand new content. But you'll also be seeing me right here, or maybe in the brand new office. Actually, we probably will be in the office next Sunday. So that's very exciting. Thank you so much for joining. I will be seeing you soon. Everyone have a fantastic Sunday night, and enjoy that summer, because before you know it, it's going to be over. So enjoy the summer while it's here. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll see you soon.